Jesus. Excuse me. Pardon me. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, what was gonna... So funny, I hit the button, I just had like this agenda. It's like, you know what? I'm actually gonna start an episode with a topic. This is amazing. And then I sneezed really hard. And now I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh well. Yeah. I guess it wasn't that important. Shit. Oh well, that's weird. Sneezes are trippy. I just love that that's like the self-cleaning heads. Remember on your little VCR machine, like, hey, do you want to run the self-cleaning heads? This is my self-cleaning head. Just sneeze. All this dust and weird shit comes out of my mouth. Nose. Clears the old chimney sweep. But I'm always like, is there another one lurking there? Am I going to fucking just sneeze again? God damn. I'm trying to organize something special for this evening to eat because I'm a kept man. And I'm looking over my... Ooh, I have tomatoes. Ooh, I have potatoes. I know I have buns. Let me see if I have some... I think I have some ground meat all up in this motherfucker. I'm gonna make burgers. Am I gonna make them? Oh, yes, I am. Oh, look at you. My honey. When I first met Liz, I'm a lucky man. I had some very defining relationships. I was with another exquisite, wonderful, intelligent woman named Cecilia. We were married. Ultimately, it wasn't, right for either one of us. We weren't totally suited for one another. But it was a pretty rough breakup, but we did break up somewhat amicably. We're still friends. We're not super tight, but I love that she's happy. And she loves that I'm happy. And I think about once a year we call each other and just have these like really heartwarming conversations. And it reestablishes the sort of the love and affection that we shared. Which is so nice because oftentimes it's like cutting off a fucking arm, You're just like, I will never speak to that person. I will never look at that arm again. You could try to sew that baby back on my body. It's the worst analogy. But by the time I met Liz, I had developed certain habits. Because I was with Cecilia for about, 14 years, I think. And then before that, I was with sort of my high school sweetheart for about 7 years. So kind of a serial monogamist, I guess you would kind of say. Although I did, slip up here and there. I wasn't the perfect man until now. No, I wasn't, we're fumbling through our youth, as we do. And yeah, you make mistakes, you slip up. But I was a hot fucking mess. I was probably a really, really difficult man to be in a relationship with, man-child. Because, I come from a long line of drinkers. I come from a long line of pot smokers, believe it or not. My great-grandfather used to smoke pot. My mom smokes pot. And I was a huge pothead. Can you imagine getting high with your great-grandfather? It's like your grandfather's dad pulls up with a fucking, little pinner joint or something and a fucking... you're 12. Sit on down here. It's milkweed. Or I don't know what he had all kinds of wacky tobacco. Anyway, the booze, my God, the booze has been abused for generations. Both sides of the family. My dad's side can hold their liquor really nice. My mom's side loves to drink, but it's a little slishity slop. It's a little sloppy. I'm not gonna lie. My mom can get a little mouthy. No, she's so disrespectful. My mom can get pretty darn tipsy, or she did. I don't think she really drinks much anymore. The woman's like, what, 80, she's going to be 83 this January. Gosh darn it. Who cares what she does? She'll drink all she wants. She's earned it. So anyway, by the time I was a youthful adult, old enough to vote, I would just get lit. And to me, that was like the hallmark of a good time, was what substances you were on. Like, oh, we're going to go to this event or that event or this party or that party. And it was like, who's sneaking the fucking booze? Where are we getting the beer? Who's holding? What kind of psychedelics do we have? It was like, that was like all I fucking cared about. And a guy, trying to date a guy like that, has its drawbacks. And when Liz met me, I was still drinking like a fucking fish. And she was like kind of dropping hints. About a couple of years into our relationship, she was like, yeah, I don't really want to be around you when you're stoned. And I'm like, what's the problem? What's the problem? All fucking defensive. Because addicts get so goddamn defensive. Because it's the booze and the weed talk, and they're just like, the weed is like, did you hear what that fucking bitch just said? No, you didn't just say that fucking shit to my man Misha right here. He is independent. He is a grown-ass man. He fucking put a pipe up to his lips any goddamn time he won't. That's how the weed voice in my head talks. Hope it's not offensive to you. The booze voice is more like, oh, come on. Shh, get over it. Sister, come here. You give me a little kiss, right? What do you mean my breath smells? I just had a couple drinkies, booze. It's kind of like a, God, what is this name? The Sarge, the Admiral, the Duke, John Wayne. Thank you. Bing, 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 bing. See, this is the net result of just of a well-lived life, I'll say. There's no memory. But anyway, she would just, she'd be like, you're dumb. You're not, and my buddy Ross would go, you smoke a little weed and you're like a little less dynamic. Your dynamic range is a little bit narrower. People were kind of subtly, not even subtly, they're just like, dude, you're kind of a bad stoner. And it's true, I was a horrible stoner. Most people are pretty bad stoners, You just see that cloud wash over people when they smoke. And they're like, and you just go, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Let's get the tinfoil hat on, Mish. What are we going to talk about? Bilderberger meetings or fucking some kind of clandestine UFO world takeover? All right. And I wouldn't have the faculties to even express myself, but I'd have these just spellbinding fucking thoughts and ideas. Just, my sketchbooks were full of just like stoner drawings. I get stoned, but dude, I'm inspired to draw right now. And then you look at it, when you sober up, you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, why did I draw that fucking sci-fi clown, wrapped in candy cane? Why is that cool to anyone? It's not. It's maybe me and Mike Bernane thought that was cool when we were baked out of our mind drinking 18 coffees together. But it finally sunk in. You know what it is? It didn't sink in. And to Liz's credit, she loved me regardless. She's like, all right, it's, everybody's got their, what do they call that? The ankle party, or, whatever. Their blind spot. And I definitely had mine. And I kind of wore most of my friends out, and definitely wore out Liz. Cecilia was just like, oh god, later hosen. Oh my god, I got so hammered on her wedding night that she was just like, I don't want anything to do with you right now. It's like, fucking how did I ruin this, honey? Come on, or just go, come on, it's so romantic. And now I see, oh wow, yeah, I was a fucking gross fucking pile of stupidity. I knew deep down underneath it all, I had a funny, charming, interesting, silly, loyal ball of love that I wanted to offer the world. But it was in a haze. It was in a fucking drunken stupor. And so I put these relationships through the ringer. My God. And they tried, My first girlfriend really tried to shape me into a civilized human being. But I was a wild animal back then, so it wasn't happening. And then, Cecilia, she tried to nudge me in certain directions and train me to be a little bit more civilized. And it, some of it took, some of it didn't. She buffed out some of the edges. And then I met Liz. And Liz, same thing, she's just like, I'm a work in progress, yo. And it wasn't until having Gus and COVID, actually, a couple weeks into lockdown, I was like, you know what, I'm going to quit pot. And she's like, oh, boy, really? Are you sure this is the right time to do that? yeah, no, I'm going to quit pot and cigarettes on the same day. What do you think of that? Because I had already quit booze a couple years before that, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm on a winning streak, honey. I'm going to keep quitting this shit. And I did. I quit those two things. And I put her and Gus through Grouchy Dad for a good couple weeks, like 3, 4, maybe 6 weeks. It was hard for me to quit cigarettes. I'm not gonna lie. Weed, I think I got over in about 3 weeks. Psychologically, I was just like, I started looking at weed and I was just like, ew. Smelling it, like I still had a bunch of weed in the garage and shit. And I'd be like, oh, well, bingo, look at this baggie. It's just some good weed right here. I fucking forgot about that. I'd smell it. And, a little nostalgia would come in. I'd be like, huh, yeah. It's pretty bomb. It is a little sticky wicky. Fucking do like it. But then I would, recollect the mood swings, the depression, the alienation, the paranoia, the bad communication, like the lack of ownership. You don't have ownership over any of your own ideas or thoughts or notions. You get impulsive in all the wrong ways. You feel stymied. You end up just lashing out. Or at least I did. There's some people that can handle their weed better than most. I think everybody gets a little psychotic on that shit. Especially this day and age, because the weed is so damn strong. So damn strong. And the pipes and everything's so figured out. Like, what do you call it? Like, the vaping. I had that, what was it? It was like a little wooden box. It got the weed just barely hot enough that it would sort of vaporize. And you take these little hits. And it wasn't like igniting it and into this carcinogenic black kind of, like burning it. It was just sort of warming it, toasting it or something. And you breathe in and you can taste all the flavors. It's not just smoke. It's like, woodsy, yummy qualities. And they would, take a giant hit, go deep in your lungs. You're fucking high for goddamn 4 hours. Might as well have been eating the shit. And it's a nice high. It kind of comes on slow. And you're like, all right, buckle in, baby. I think the little pipe was called like a first class flight or some flight, or it had some flight. Because it was like right before your flight, you fucking go into the bathroom and take one of them hits, shove that down your pants, and call it good. Back when domestic flying was a breeze compared to now. Fucking A, man. We're all criminals now. Jesus Christ. People can willy-nilly come into our nation. They can vote. They can be given a stipend. They can be put up in a nice 4-star beautiful hotel and given 3 square meals. And one of our lovely sanctuary cities. They can take over our, some of our lowlier jobs that everybody says, oh yeah, no, it's good for the economy. Citizenship, that shit's overrated. Come on. We're a sanctuary for people in need that are, they get a little trafficked at the border, whatever, who doesn't? I'm getting trafficked right now. I'm driving an Uber in traffic. It's like getting trafficked, right? But, I don't know. See, I like to veer away from a point as far as humanly possible. And then when I forget where I was, I just throw up my hands. I go, you know what? I'm not there anymore. I'm here now. Do you think a long snake forgets where their ass is? They're just like, they look back and they're like, oh wow, my ass is going over that spot I was, but I don't even remember that spot. It's so weird. Yeah. Yeah. That was a very personal bit of information that I shared. I don't know, I feel a little conflicted about this episode. That's okay, though. That's okay. I think part of the whole purpose of this is to just be really open. You know? Sometimes it's just to pace and be neurotic and try to get a laugh, but it's also like to be truthful and sort of mine the awkwardness and the discomfort for there's gold underneath it in our hills. I bet there's still gold in all these fucking hills. Jesus Christ. Around LA, I'm looking at a hill right now. I'm like, I bet if you burrowed through that motherfucker, you find all kinds of gold. What was that movie? Tom Waits played a prospector. Something Scrubs or Scruds. World According to Garp. That was some movie. But that one, it was a bunch of vignettes. Love movies that are like that. It's like, this is a story about this, and then you just abandon those characters in that story, and then you move on to something else. You tell a different story. It's like the purpose of the movie is you're going into the campfire to warm up, and there's a couple of really good storytellers, and they're going to pass the mic for a little bit right before you go to bed. But Tom Waits, man, he's a great actor. He's such a personality. I haven't listened to one of his albums in a long time. I was on a job, semi-recently, and it was over at Ancient Order, and they have a great stereo system, Ancient Order speakers and stuff. They did on the stages, and you could go DJ, you could go up to the laptop that was kind of running it and monkey around with it and, listen to some tunes. And I was pulling all-nighters, and they gave me the keys and the code, and they left me alone in this studio to pull an all-nighter. And Eric Atkins was the DP on it, and he would tuck me in. He would be like, all right, you got everything you need? You good? You set? And then he would start walking out, and he would throw on something. And one night, I think he threw on Tom Waits. And I forgot how fucking rad Tom Waits is. How could you forget? I don't know. But I forgot that, a lot of his records are just big, long stories. And he tells a big, long story. Like, what is it, like Frank's... Oh, Jesus. This is embarrassing. Frank's... it's the one where he, torches his house and burns his wife alive or whatever. But it's like a story, and he weaves a tale because he is a storyteller. And even when he was, just playing shows and doing music and not acting, he was an actor. His shtick is a character. his delivery when he's singing is almost like stand-up. You know, I think he rehearses the fuck out of everything, even like the stuff in between, because he shucks and jives with the audience like between songs on some of those live albums. You're like, this guy he's it. He's why you went to that show. Like, I mean, he's got an amazing band, but who knows any of those fucking people's names? I mean, I'm sure a lot of the aficionados. I mean, I'm sure he played with famous drummers and piano players and all that shit. Doesn't he play the harmonica too? I think he plays the piano. Doesn't he? He plays the piano. Duh. God, it's so embarrassing that I'm just so rusty on Tom Waits. A buddy of mine went to a Bjork concert, and he sat right down next to Tom Waits. And Tom was just sort of like just taking Bjork's music in, just like they're all everybody was like sitting room only kind of deal. And then my buddy had backstage passes, and he went back there, and Tom Waits was back there, of course. And they were just shucking and jiving. Bjork's pretty incredible. I saw her live at the Hollywood Bowl, and she does all that screeching and screaming and like gnarly singing, and it's just such a release, you know. It's like some, you know, Icelandic elvish fucking magic show, and then the song ends, and she just very meek and humbly goes, "Thank you." That's all she says between songs. Fucking nothing. Just like, you know, like she kind of kicks the dirt and looks down like, "Thank you." Like, I mean, that's a little bit of faux humility, right? I mean, you just, like, people are on their feet fucking losing their mind over something you just did. And then you play it off like, "I don't know. I guess I'm good." That's how I am with animation. People are just like, "Dude, that fucking shot. Oh my God, you're fucking God." I don't know. Well, you know, if that's what you want to think. I'm just kidding. I'm a hack. Here, let's talk about animation for a minute. There's a grade. And certain people make the grade, and certain people don't make the grade. And I'm looking at the grade. I'm looking at the fucking grade myself. It's a grad. It's not like a A, B, C, D grade. It's like a graduate. Sorry. It's a slow gradation. It's like a hill. It's like a path, and you walk up it. And I think when you get to the top, you graduate. I think that's how it goes. But sometimes you make the grade, sometimes you don't. And I never really made the grade. You know, I got by. You know, I had like, you know, maybe a D, a couple C's, some B's, maybe an A minus here and there, whatever. But I didn't like, you know, I got by. My whole career I've just been getting by. I don't think people go, "Hey, Misha Klein, he's a fucking pretty amazing animator." I have some strengths here and there, but there's some top picks. Let's go down the list here. There's some fucking badasses. You know, I don't even know the people now. You know, the people that just do feature after feature after feature. They're just the feature level animators. They're the ones that we talk about. You know, and there's some really good ones right now. You know, Dan McKenzie and Tucker were really good when they left LA. But they're probably like second stringers up there. Suzanne and Jeff Riley and Suzanne Twining's a badass. And I think she lives in the feature lane, I would hope. But the old timers that still probably rock and roll are Trey Thomas, Anthony Scott, and then there's like Brad Schiff's really good. I love Kim Blanchett's stuff. Jan Moss is amazing. He's a great animator. Anthony Elworthy is fucking splendid. Jason Stallman fucking pops it, right? Travis Knight, fucking great. He's a good animator. Justin Rosh. Amy Adamy fucking blows doors. She's gifted. Just has the supple touch. Oh, Justin Cohn. Just solid. Represents, gets on gigs, does his thing. Fucking. He can do it all. He can do it all. He can make the armature, make the mold, make the sculpt, paint it, rig it, brings his tools. I'm a little bit out of the loop. I don't even like dropping names. It's like, what? It's because for me, it's like it's all about bonds of affection. There's so many people I just don't really know. Like, I met them eons ago, but I just don't know them. Getting back to me, yeah, I just didn't. I didn't really make the cut to stay in that kind of caliber. And I have some regrets, because I like honing and sharpening and working at the high end. I really like it. It's fun because I like trying to push other people because, when you're on a big movie, everybody goes to weeklies and everybody looks at the shots and everybody studies the shots and everybody talks about the shots. And there's this exchange where people try to outdo each other. And that is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to sort of be competitive like that. It's cool. It's really cool. I miss it. I'm not gonna lie. It just, LA just doesn't really do it. They lost that opportunity. And it's become kind of like the Bush Leagues down in LA. It's like people come up from school into LA and then they work at like Stupid Buddy and Screen Novelties, and Stupid Buddy is where they start, Apartment D, Stupid Buddy, and then they get a job at Screen, and that's kind of where they go to finishing school. Because screen, you know, has you get the opportunity to actually like do something with a really exotic, cool, beautifully designed puppet, like a real puppet, not just a fucking action figure or a toy. And you bring a character to life. And you're still hauling ass, you know, you're still doing everything on twos. You're still, like, there's no pop throughs and none of that shit. You're just, here's a shot, here's another shot. How about another shot? You want another shot? Well, good, tough shit, you get another shot. It's like going to a bar and just doing shots. You can walk out of there fucking wasted. And you can. And I've kind of sort of not wasted my career, but like wasted opportunities to work other muscles. But I still think, you know, Warner Brothers is the pinnacle. You know, Tom and Jerry, or, you know, like the really loose shit is the pinnacle for me. Because it's the most expressive shit. You know, it's not, doesn't have all the fucking self-conscious hang-ups of high-end animation. High-end animation has a stick so fucking far up its own ass. You know, but it doesn't have the sloppy vitality of a show that just doesn't have time for you to put on airs. You know, it just doesn't have time. Yeah, I know you could do a better job if you have better rigging and a better puppet and more time to do it. Duh. What do you think? We're fucking dumb? That's not the point. The point is to fucking shit it out in a hurry. And gather all the fringe benefits of what happens when you do that. All this lovely other shit happens when you just don't obsess. You know, things that just occur to you in the moment to do. You know, risks that you take to cut corners. You know, or, you know, throw some punk rock shit in there. You know, when you look at a Tom and Jerry and, like, Jerry just runs out of frame, like, it's not like you're sitting there going, wow, each one of those little run poses is so amazing. No, it's like his head's all back and his legs are all scrambling and he just fucking zinks out of there. And it has such punch. Those characters are so freaking alive. And the whole point of it is, let's move this fucking baby along. You know, we don't have all day to run this dude out of frame, you assholes. We got story points to cover. Point A to point B. Get him out of there. And so the animators were just getting risky and loose and cracking each other up. And they were being bold. Which is, you know, I think something that forces animators to, you know, to kind of embody that down here in LA. And I love it. You know, it's really, I've benefited from it. You know, I've developed some horrible habits. Awful. I don't even know if I could do a feature now. I don't think I would. You know, my work would be acceptable. It's just too sloppy. But, you know, it's like anything else. You have to develop the taste and the muscle for ones. It's so hard. If you're not used to it, it's so fucking hard to slow your shit down. I worked on a show, and everybody was sort of insisting on ones. And there were a lot of big camera moves, so you kind of had to. And but there were slow moves. I could have done a lot of that shit on twos. And every time I throw twos in, I'm like, oh, I love it better. I love it more. But anyway, I just was like, okay, I'm gonna do this fucking on ones. And you can't, when you have those slow drifting camera moves, you can't go back into dragon and like frame for like just. I'm gonna put a double here and a double there and a double here, and I'm gonna fix all my timings. It'd be great. I mean, you can afford to do that on a lock off, but when you say, okay, I'm doing ones, and you start monkeying around with that puppet every frame, you know, not just leaving it. And you take that frame, they'll fucking kill you if you go back in and edit frames. Somebody will kill you, whether it's the DP or the director or the guy in post. Yeah, but the animation looks better when I put that little section on twos. Yeah, and then the camera move looks like a hammered fucking. Like we purposely made a mistake right there. Looks like a shark attacked somebody's leg right there. Right there, where you did all that nice animation. You destroyed our camera move, asshole. Alright, I'll put it on ones. See, that looks great. No, it doesn't. Looks like Charlie Chaplin right there. It's not about you. It's not about your stupid character, okay? It's about the flame flicker in the background. And I want that on ones, okay? Alright. I'm just... Oh my god, I've been talking for 42 minutes. This is so fucked up.